How you doing, guys? My name is Kevin from Long Island Supercars Composites Manufacturing. I just want to do a little review on the G100 Gelcoat Cup Gun. It's made by ES Manufacturing Incorporated. This particular model of gun I bought from Fiberglass.com. I'll put the link in the description. I was surprised there was actually no reviews directly on the gun itself. I wish somebody actually would have came up with some sort of a video, kind of like I'm doing, before I actually purchased the gun. Fiberglass.com sells it for $168 plus shipping. It's an excellent gun. I swear by it. There's no other gun that I would actually use to spray down gel coat, and brushing it is just very amateur. Basically, it comes like this right out of the box. You have the plastic cup. You have a 4.7 millimeter nozzle. Everything comes apart nice and easy. So if you got to clean it, I just get in there with brushes with solvent, and I have the drop-in 1 quart paper cups. You just drop in there. You never have to clean this. It's never an issue. Paper cup goes in the top. Push that on the top of it, and it seals perfectly. This comes right out of the box with, it's a G300 FN6 part number, and that's the 4.7 millimeter spray nozzle. Thing's great, except right out of the box when you get it, it leaks out of every O-ring. It comes basically from the distributor. I'm sure it has nothing to do with fiberglass.com, because they just sell it. But every O-ring just leaks. The first time I plugged it in, I had my regulator for my my other spray gun set at 40 psi. Plugged it in, 40 psi. Everything's leaking. Could not get it to seal. Took this little unit out here. It just hand threads out. 2 of the O-rings were ripped right out of the box. So when I measured everything, it was standard size O-rings, but I ordered this from Harbor Freight. It's a metric O-ring assortment set. It's about $8. The metric O-rings actually fit better than the standard O-rings, and I never had an issue with it. The only one I really replace now on a regular basis is the one right around the nozzle, because it just gets destroyed while I'm cleaning it with solvent. But I do run this gun at 100 psi, because that's what it basically sprays down the, I don't know, it gets it very smooth, very even coats. I got a mold here. This is for a headlight cover for a first gen RX-7. This mold's a little beat up. I've used it for a long time. But I did spray this down with a gun, and nice, perfect, even coat. Here's an actual carbon fiber panel that I popped out of it. I sprayed this down with, I used the Duratec clear gel coat that I sprayed with this gun on top first. Then laid down the carbon and did the vacuum infusion. And it's not cut out yet, but it looks beautiful. But it's a very good gun. Definitely recommend it to anybody if you're just getting started, or you've been brushing on your gel coat by hand and had very bad results with it, which I'm sure if you're actually buying this gun, you've either trying to prevent that or you've had that happen to you multiple times. But yeah, just mix up your gel coat, pop it together, snap it in. Tight fit here, but this just snaps in. If you actually look inside, that's where the air pressure comes out, and it just pushes around the outside of the nozzle. This is not pressurized. It's just a vacuum feed. The air pressure coming around here creates a negative or lower pressure inside the cup, which pulls the gel coat out. So while you're spraying, If you tilt the gun down without pulling the trigger on, it will just run out. There's no restriction in there whatsoever. It's not a regular gravity feed. It's actually just a vacuum feed. And this is probably one of the got one of the tighter O-rings in here. Anytime you're picking an O-ring out, make sure that it barely goes over the surface that you're actually trying to seal. This one's a little big because I was running out. Snaps in, you know, cup gun. You got your gel coat already mixed up in the plastic cup inside of it, or the paper cup inside of it. Snap it down like that. Hook up your air. Make sure you got a good regulator. Make sure you have a desiccant filter, some way of filtering out oil and water, moisture, and you'll have perfect results with it every single time. I've used this gun a lot. I've kept it fairly clean, and just replace your O-rings regularly. The thing will just start leaking out of nowhere. It's a very basic gun. There's really not a lot to it, not a lot of moving parts. There's no springs anywhere. Just as soon as you hear something leaking, just replace all the O-rings. They're cheap enough. $8 gets you 397 of them. But love the gun. I'd recommend Fiberglass.com. They're very good with shipping. I get a lot of my materials from them. They have very good prices. Every once in a while they'll throw up some 20% off everything in their store if you have their newsletter. But yeah, just make sure. I think it was rated at, it says a 5 horsepower compressor, 5.8 CFM at 80 PSI. I would recommend bigger than that, unless you're doing something the size of one of my little molds. If you're doing something the size of a hood, I would definitely recommend a very large, I don't know, anything bigger than a 5 horsepower motor. I do run this regulated at 100 PSI, which seems to be perfect and gives me a nice even coat. The gun seems to love it. The gel coat will actually, it won't set up while it's inside the gun. So if you want to spray down a light mist layer, a lot of times the clear gel coat, before you lay down the carbon, they want you to do a quick mist layer and then let it sit for about 20 minutes to a half hour, and then lay down a couple heavier coats or whatever, but you don't have to worry about it setting up inside the gun because it won't. It just cuts off enough air, I guess, that it actually will not set up, which is great. So you don't have to clean it in between and remix it and mix up enough. I don't know, it's just a pain. But there you go, guys. Great gun. It's the model G100 by ES Manufacturing. Buy this, regulators, everything. Get a good compressor and you'll love it. Trust me. Have a good one, guys.